All right, welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about how much is land selling for in my area. I get this question all the time from students. How much is land selling for my area? I'm going to show you today. All right, I got several points I want to break down in this video, like how much is land selling for per acre, how much is land selling for in each area, and by the end of this video, if you stick around, you're gonna have so much confidence to figure out whatever area you're in, exactly what land is selling for, and I'm even gonna give you an easy button on how to do it. All right, I'm gonna show you a super simple method, and it's by a website you've probably heard of, and it's called Zillow.com. I want you to go to Google Chrome, and if you check out my image here, I'm gonna show you several images here on how to use Zillow.com. I'm gonna actually use an example of Lake Placid, Florida. This is a little city and it's got like all these lakes around it, but it's great land out there, and I want to kind of show you how I'm going to do it with Zillow. And yeah, the reason why I say use Google Chrome is because you want, like, I found that Safari and Internet Explorer is okay. Safari, Zillow really doesn't like, but Google Chrome seems to be the best for getting Zillow to populate very well. So if you see the image, I checked out Lake Placid, Florida. Next, I want you to click on the solds, and we're going to look at solds first. And then I want you to go to the button that says lots and land, lots/land. And I want you to deselect everything and then select lots and land only, because we're only interested in land right now. You know, if you're doing houses, then only check houses, you know, keep it with apples to apple comparisons. And then I want you to go to the more tab and see the image here, but more tab. And I want to only look at 1/4 acre to 1 acre. And, you know, for instance, let's just say that you're interested in, you know, 2 to 5 acres, then you would go 2 to 5 acres. You can actually really kind of narrow down this so that when you're looking at apple to apple comparisons, maybe you're only looking at 10-acre parcels, then you only want to go about like 8 to 12 acres on this tab. And we're still in the more tab, and I want you to scroll up where you can basically see how long it took to sell. And I want you to click sold in the last 6 months. Check the 6-month option. I want you to know this. If nothing comes up, you might have to extend it a little further. If too much comes up, then only go to 90 days. I want this as narrow as possible. I want this as micro as possible. And, you know, play with this a little bit. You can't really mess it up. You want to kind of see all avenues and kind of take an average. All right, now I want you to analyze what the actual solds are. And I'm just going to use some really round numbers. I'm not actually going to use exactly like Lake Placid, Florida examples. That's just the example of how to find it. But I want you to look at solds, and solds are the most important because that's actually what people are selling for. And a lot of times this is cash sales. We're not looking at like seller financing sales. It's usually pretty much just cash sales only on Zillow. So let's just, for round number purposes, we see that an acre of land is selling for $10,000 per acre. Now, if we have 5 acres and it's selling for $10,000 per acre, or 5 acres is selling for $50,000, that also shows us that it's selling for $10,000 per acre. And I want you to write that number down. You know, let's just say we're looking at 1 acre parcels only. It's selling for $10,000 per acre. But how did I come up with that $10,000 per acre? Well, we saw one that's selling for $9,800, another one that sold for $11,000, one that sold for $10,000. You know, you take all three, add them up, and divide by 3, and just like I said, for round numbers, we're coming up with $10,000 per acre. So we're looking at the average. We deal in averages. You know, I generally like to look at the lowest one though. I look like the lowest one would be that 9,000. So if you're buying the land, you want to look at the lowest one. If you're selling the land, you want to look at the highest one. All right, we're still in Lake Placid, Florida on Zillow. Now I want to see what the competition's doing. I want to see what the for sales look like. So I'm going to go to the tab that says sold, and I'm going to click for sale. See the image. And then I'm going to go to the more tab, and I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to say days on Zillow could be any, because I want to actually see how many available listings are for sale on Zillow currently in Lake Placid. If you see the image, it'll show you exactly what I clicked. All right, next let's talk about realtors. Realtors have licenses to sell real estate, and I'm not just talking about any realtor. I want to talk to a land specialist realtor. How do we find this person? How do we find the land specialist realtor? Well, I love to call the real estate office that's closest to the land I'm trying to figure out how much I should sell it for, or how much I should price it to sell it for. So I'm gonna call the closest real estate office. I'm gonna say, hey, who's your land specialist in your office? Who's the realtor that deals in land? And they might not have anybody. I'm gonna ask if they can refer me to somebody else. And if they can't refer me, I'm gonna go right back to LandWatch, and I'm gonna go right back to Lake Placid. I'm gonna scroll down, or scroll up I should say, and look at all the land listings until I see the land specialist in that area, and I'm gonna make sure she's licensed too. I believe her name is Diana in Lake Placid because I've seen her before, so I know she exists on there. But that's 2 ways to find a realtor that deals in land. So when trying to figure out what land is selling for in your area, when you figure out who this realtor is, here's what I want you to say to that realtor when you get them on the phone. Say, hey, Diana, or hey, John, hey, Bill, I've got a piece of land in Lake Placid, or Apache, Arizona, or wherever you're at. I want to know the 30-day blowout price for this land. I want to know what I could sell it for in 30 days. If I've got a whole financing or cash, like what is the get it done now price? Because I don't want to know what the 6 or 8 or 12 month land's prices. That's why you see land listings sit for so long. It's because people list it too high, or they don't offer financing, or not good enough photos. You can resource my other videos for that. Definitely hit the subscribe button. I'm always talking about how to sell your land fast, how to showcase it the best, some of the things I just mentioned there, but definitely subscribe. I come out with these videos 5 days a week. No other land investor is actually sharing all the things I'm sharing on YouTube. That's why I came out with this channel. All right, so back to the realtor. So I want to know that blowout price, the get it done now price, because I want to sell this thing quick. Like, no one wants to sit around for a long time. And I'm upfront with a realtor. I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to list it yet. I'm just still trying to figure out what to price it at. Like, what's the sales price? How do I price land in my area? Really, at the end of the day, you're going to find that 9 out of 10 realtors are just amazing people. They're go-givers, they're servants, they just give so much value, and eventually figure out how to serve them as well, because you're gonna find a good realtor. If you do this for a living, if you build a business with this, you're gonna wanna keep that person on your team. So I briefly mentioned landwatch.com and how to find the land specialist realtor. Landwatch.com is probably one of my favorite places to see what the competition is doing, what other land sellers are selling their land for, because you can really narrow it down. Let's just say you got 5 acres in Lake Placid. You can narrow it down to 5 acres of undeveloped land in Lake Placid. All right, so I've given you a visual representation here on this image. I've selected Lake Placid. The next image, I want you to check the box that says undeveloped land and make sure the other box are not checked. So we're looking at vacant raw land, how to price your vacant raw land. And then just above that, you'll notice that there's a minimum size and a maximum size. So if you're looking at, let's just say 5 acre parcels, then I want you to look at like the 3 to 7 acre parcels. That way you're kind of seeing a little bit lower than that and a little bit higher than that. That's really it on landwatch.com. That's how to figure out how to price your land in a certain area. All right, my final point, this is pretty much the easy button on figuring out how, like what land is worth in a certain area, how to price it, and that's price.com. If you go below in the description, I've got a link for you. It's price.com/the land sharks. This will give you a 7-day free trial to use this service. This is taking all the data from Zillow and LandWatch and the MLS and all these realtors and what they're selling this stuff for, and it's looking at the solds. It's even taking a look at the county assessor, and it's aggregating all this data and putting it in one little nice box for you to use and to be able to get your information within 5 or 10 minutes. You can be an expert. And let's just say that you don't want to use this for longer than 7 days, or maybe you're a land investor. Maybe you're looking to get started in this business and build a passive income. I've got students that are just crushing it. I've got students all the time telling me, I just made $20,000 this month in my sleep. As we all know, the real estate market is exploding. Get in before it's too late. And check out this price.com. Here's another resource. And if you're interested in building a business like this that can serve you and your family and eventually others, head over to thelandsharks.com. The link's below in the description. You can schedule a call with me and my team. We'll see what your goals are, and if we feel like we're a good fit, I'd be honored to coach you. So going back to clarify, what is price.com? What will it do for you? Why would you even want to look at the 7-day free trial? And really, at the end of the day, you can go to LandWatch, you can go to Zillow, you can talk to the realtors and see what land is going for per acre, and then you kind of have to do that math yourself. You kind of have to average it yourself. You see that it's selling on Zillow for $10,000 an acre, and it's selling on LandWatch for $11,000 an acre, and it's selling on the county assessor site for 9,000. Well, you add all those up and it comes to an average of 10,000. Price.com kind of breaks that all down for you within the specific apples per apples comparison. It allows you to pick a city, so you're getting as micro as possible for your comparable land values, and then you can pick, like, I'm only interested in 3 to 5 acres, and it's aggregating all that data for you. So that's really the difference between like Zillow and LandWatch compared to Price.com. That's why I call it the easy button. That's why I offer you the link, because it really comes in handy. It kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.